Small Business Committee.
As reported by Time magazine, U.S. Representative Nydia Velázquez knows how easy it is for medical secrets to find their way out of a doctor's files. When Velázquez was running for Congress in 1992 to represent New York City's 12th Congressional District, someone got hold of her hospital records detailing her 1991 suicide attempt and forwarded them by anonymous fax to the press. The New York Post broke the story, and Velázquez was forced to acknowledge publicly something even her family did not know. She had tried to kill herself with sleeping pills and vodka. Despite the painful publicity, she won the election, and now she is suing the hospital for $10 million. Keeping medical records private is becoming more and more important as technology advances. This high-profile case is just one example of the history of medical privacy issues.
So what does this have to do with us? Welcome to the game of Risk. Are your medical records safe? Our contestants are Doug, Nicole, Jackie, Megan, Ryan, and I'm your host for today, Jenny. Our first question is, what information is found in your medical records?
Information about family relationships, sexual behavior, substance abuse, private thoughts and feelings, and your social security number.
Correct. Now, name 3 things that the theft of your medical records could lead to.
Lead to problems with your credit, admissions to educational institutions, and employment.
Very good. Does anyone know what HIPAA is?
HIPAA is the plural form of the word hippopotamus.
No. HIPAA, which stands for Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, encompasses a wide range of regulations pertaining to medical record privacy. These regulations are enforced by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. HIPAA requires health care providers to notify their patients of their privacy rights as well as train their employees to follow exact procedures in securing patients' medical records. The punishment for breaking HIPAA laws includes fines anywhere from $50,000 to $250,000 and anywhere from 1 to 10 years in prison. I couldn't have said it better myself. What do professionals at Penn State say about the safety of our medical records? Okay, well, here's the answer.
So how many people have access to a single patient's records?
Well, you know, people have access to the records by what their job is. So many people have access to your record, everywhere from the physicians to our mid-level providers to the nurses to the folks that work in health information management, physical therapists, medical technologists in the lab, x-ray technologists. All the appointment staff have access to that part of the record where appointments are scheduled. So probably 80 to 90% of the staff that work in this building have access to some part of the medical record.
So how is your information stored? Is it paperless, electronic, or is it all paper still?
We are completely paperless. We implemented a completely electronic health record. We've had that now for about 7 years.
So how is the information physically protected?
We have a lot of hardware in place to protect our servers and individual computers. We have firewalls, we use encryption, we have our network administrator run intrusions alarms. So as far as the hardware goes, we're pretty well secured. And then all staff from day one are trained on how to secure their workstations, to secure them if they need to leave the room. So we have a lot of security also in the training aspect and orienting new people so that they keep the information secure.
Are the records allowed to be taken from the facility, and are doctors allowed to access it from outside of this place?
Okay. Well, the only time records are taken out is upon patient request, and we have to print you off a copy and, let's say, send it to a specialist or to your physician back home if they need to see our documentation. Our physicians right now do not access the records from their home. They could do that if we set up a VPN, a virtual private network, but really we found no need to do that. Now in the future with our digital radiology, we are setting up a VPN tunnel to Hershey Medical Center, and the radiologists there will actually have access to the PACS part. It's the server for the x-rays, and they'll have access to that through this private network to read our x-rays.
Do Penn State students really know about the safety of their medical records? We're here at University Health Services at Penn State, and we want to know how Penn State students feel about the safety of their medical records. Do you think your information is safe?
Probably not.
Yes. Or not?
No.
Yes, I've never had a reason to think otherwise, I guess. Certainly most yes.
Would you feel better if your information was kept on paper or electronically or both?
I would feel better if there was a copy of it written somewhere, kept either by my family or the government. But other than that, electronic.
I would prefer if it was kept just completely on paper only, and like one or two sources like me have my copy, and then whatever government else needs to have it.
Probably both, because I always think that it's better to have a backup in case something happened to like a paper copy, but at the same time, like I don't always know how accessible it is to other sources if it's electronic.
I think I would feel most secure with both, although I feel like copying it would be more safe because it's obvious.
And how many people do you think have access to your medical information?
Legally, I think 3, 4. Other than that, I don't know.
Thank you.
Too many.
I honestly have no idea.
I honestly have no idea. Probably at least at least.
Next question. What is Penn State doing to change the way medical records are handled?
Penn State uses RSA Secure ID tokens to examine student information and to protect against people who try to access this information who are unauthorized. Penn State is looking into having handheld devices available for physicians to send medical information via that device through secure networks to a database at Hershey Medical Center. Also, the Institute of Medicine is encouraging medical personnel to encrypt all portable devices with sensitive information on them about medical records after finding new threats being made to such devices.
Correct. What has President Obama done to advance medical record privacy?
Obama signed the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act, which has a section devoted to medical safeguards, including banning the unauthorized sale of any patient's medical records, as well as requiring a list of personnel who see what information in the medical system.
So why aren't we transferring everything from paper to electronic?
Because we're lazy?
Because the cost of transferring medical records from paper to electronic can be enormous. For a small hospital, it may only cost a few $1 million to appropriate and set up the proper equipment, but for large metropolitan hospitals, the cost could be hundreds of millions of dollars. In the Economic Recovery Plan, there are limited funds available to help hospitals make the switch.
We're out of time for today, but you are all winners because you have learned the importance of keeping your medical information safe. That is
HIPAA is the plural form of the word hippopotamus.
HIPAA requires healthcare providers to notify their patients of their privacy rights as well as train their employees to follow exact procedures in securing patients' The punishment for breaking HIPAA law. We're out of time for today, but you are all winners because you have learned the importance of keeping your medical information safe.